will present the new features and future capabilities of Flow Connect. So we will start introducing some new features for end users, and then we'll continue with FlowScript modules, and then take a look at our roadmap ahead. For those of you who missed last year's conference, we recommend you to watch our YouTube channel for an overview of Flow Connect. So in today's session, we will focus on the new and upcoming features. So today we will present the exciting new features that we've developed since the product's launch. And we'll begin by highlighting the feature designed for end users. And then we'll take a deep dive into a major feature for developers. So let's start with the new end user features. Dependent fields. That is one of our most frequently requested feature, and it's now available in Connect. So this allows multiple list controls in a user step to be dependent on each other. So selecting a value in one list filters the available values in the next list without needing to reload the step. Images in list controls. You can now add images for each item in a list control, making it more visually appealing and easier to use. Conditional visibility. So you can set condition on controls in a user step to determine whether they should be visible. So this simplifies dynamic UI adjustments without needing to duplicate each user step and customize the copies. Image annotations. So when capturing a photo with your camera or uploading an image from your library, you can now add highlights with drawings and text on the images. And dark mode. So the client now supports dark mode for a more comfortable viewing experience for those of you who prefer that. So we have put together a report work order app to showcase all the new features from an end user perspective. So let's take a look at, maybe I'm just, okay, so where am I? So let's start the report work order app. So in this step, we will select the equipment. So by filtering by customer and site, we will make it a lot easier to find the proper equipment. So first, let's select the customer, and then the site list that will be, of course, filtered down by the customer we selected. And then when we go into equipment, we'll see the equipments for the selected site. So, and you can also notice the image capabilities that we now have in lists. So making it easier to identify the proper equipment. So what if we don't find the equipment we were looking for? Simply go back and select another site. And we now have an updated list. So there's our forklift. So we have now selected the right equipment. So let's continue with selecting the work order we want to report. So we see a list of work orders connected to the equipment. And if we just click on the first one, we can go in and report time spent on this work. If we go back and select another work order, and if you notice that one is missing the description. So let's select that one instead. And now we see the problem description for us to fill in. Stand still. So let's do that. Next, let's attach an image to show the issue with the work order. So we will capture the picture with the camera, as we used to do. And after storing it, we can simply long press on the image to go into edit mode. And in the edit mode, we can easily crop an image to focus on the important part. We can draw on it, and we can write some text. So then just confirm your changes and save the image. And we have an annotated image stored. Now let's report some material. And we have the new list selection with images again. And we can either just search and manually select the items, or we can scan right into the list. We see that the list is updated with the nice images. Then we are done with the work order. Just save it, and it is reported. Lastly, let's switch to dark mode. So we'll go into settings, change the appearance to dark theme, and the client is now in dark mode. So that's our new end user features. So let's close this one and go back to the presentation. So now we'll switch over to the developer-focused feature, FlowScript modules. So what are FlowScript modules? So FlowScript modules can contain reusable functions, types, and values that can be shared across applications. These modules can be global, available to the entire organization, or they can be local, restricted to a specific application package. And modules are managed just like components or fragments in Classic. They are committed, versioned, and displayed as dependencies. So, why use FlowScript modules? We believe that they will be very useful for packaging REST services, such as IFS cloud projections, Info-M3 programs, or just general REST services. You can also extend FlowScript with additional utility functions, such as time zones. Maybe you need to work with time zones, and you can use utility functions for converting times between time zones. Or you can have, for example, a module which handles GS1 barcodes or QR codes. So easily handle the parsing of these GS1 barcodes and QR codes within your apps. So let's take a deep dive and explore what they look like and how they work in Connect. So I'll start demo. There's my cursor. There it is. So what are we seeing here? This is the application package content for a package called Code Scanner, as you see top left. We have one application, and to the right, we have the Assets panel. And the Assets panel contains components and modules for this package. So in this package, we have one module called GS1. And for those unfamiliar with GS1, GS1 provides a standard for encoding product, shipment, and logistical information in barcodes and QR codes. And this module contains code for parsing the multi-field barcodes and QR codes. Without needing to know the intricate details of the GS1 standard, we can simply use this module and parse our scanned codes within our apps. So to open the module, we can just click on the module card, or we can use the context menu and edit in Designer. So this opens the module in the FlowScript editor within the Designer. And you can view and modify the content of the module. So ideally, this is a well-commented code and includes information how to use it. So this could be code that you or someone in your organization has developed once and shared it across all your projects or applications. Or it could be a module shared with your organization. So how do you use the module? So the easiest way is to use the built-in FlowScript playground. So in the Tools menu in the Designer, we have the FlowScript playground available. So that opens a code test window. So next we can just take a sample GS1 code, store that in a variable, and then we can see that the module is automatically available inside the playground. And that goes for the functions inside the module as well. So they are auto-completed, and we can just pass our scanned code or the sample code that we have. And then we'll just return the parsed result. And we simply click on the play button, top right. And that will produce the parsed information from this scanned code. So we can see that it has shipping container information, item number, use by date, and a batch lot. So that is how we can test modules easily. And I will switch to the presentation again. And now, how do we use modules in applications? So let's build a small little application that uses the GS1 module. So let's open this application in the Designer. So it's just an empty application at this point. So we'll just add the first user step, and we'll add inputs for each field. So part number, batch number, quantity in this case. Then we'll add a scan event step. So that will read the barcode with the scanner. And we connect it to our user step. So then let's add our module to the application. So modules are visible in the left panel together with the user steps. At the bottom there you see some components and modules. So we can just search for it, and to use it, just drag it onto the canvas. And now everything in that module is available in your application. So let's add a script step using the module, so for parsing our scanned code. So we would just use the same function as we did in our playground and pass it the scanned code and parse it. And then we'll just check that the code contains the data identifiers that we assume. So it's, in this case, it's called additional ID, it's batch lot, and count. Otherwise, we'll just return nothing. And then lastly, we'll just connect the parsed code information into our input fields. So we will reference this parsed variable and the different fields inside there. And then we will just commit our application, and we can see sometimes that the asset GS1, the module, will be version 1. So now when we are committing the application, we fix that version. So upcoming changes in the module will not affect this version of the application. And if we switch back to the hub and go into the version history, we can also see that we have dependencies to this asset. So we see the dependencies to GS1 version 1. So that's how we use modules in applications. So, and just to test our application to ensure it works as intended, I have a small little short video of that. So we start the application and we scan the code using the camera, the QR code, and boom, we have everything parsed and put inside the user step. So the future of modules, what we will continue to work on, one thing is automatically generate modules for example, IFS-ODAT data projections, Info-M3 programs. So that is possible by reading the projections and programs metadata. We will be able to generate automatically the code for using these projections and programs, or import OpenAPI specification. Low-code layer for modules. Enable a low-code interface for using modules. So have a way of just browsing your modules, and the functions and the parameters needed will just appear, so you can click and use them in a low-code way. Module library. Provide a central library for discovering and downloading modules, so pre-made modules that you can just use in your applications. And generative flow script AI. So leverage AI to assist in generating flow script code, making module creation even easier. So the idea is not to require you to be experts in FlowScript. Instead, we want to help you by auto-generating, sharing, and making them easier to use. At the same time, if you have the knowledge, you will be able to create a lot of cool new functionality packaged in modules. So we think that this is the best of both worlds. They should be easy to use, but you can also dive into the details and do adjustments as needed. So it's not a black box. You can actually read the code. And about the AI features, so we are, as we speak, working on our first AI implementation. So that will be a way of asking for help about FlowScript. So I will give you a sneak peek of that. It's not yet ready for release, but I think let's see if I can find my proper window here. You maybe already saw it at the beginning. So this is not the product itself. This is the AI, not the AI, the Azure AI Studio that we use just for testing the modules we are building. So here I can just ask questions about FlowScript. So let's ask, how do I convert text to a number? Then it will always give you a syntax explanation. So reference, you can use the val function to turn this into a number if you have a string. And then it will have an example and some references. So maybe let's ask, how can I reverse a string? We have no such function at the moment in FlowScript, but if we ask, we will get an example of how we can do that by writing our own little reverse function. You can just copy this code into your application. So we think that this will be very helpful to start with. So you can get help by asking the chatbot of how to do things in FlowScript. But later on, we also want to be able to actually generate code like many of the co-pilots do already. Okay, then let's switch back to our presentation, and I will hand over to Paul for some roadmap.
Thanks, Andreas. Appreciate it. So I think Andreas has done a really nice job of showing what the differences are that we've had over this past quarter, maybe 2 quarters. In the future, we look to try to expand on this. I think there was a bit of a focus on developer features, right? For those who in the audience who are developers, maybe appreciate that FlowScript. And then there's also some focus on end user features, dependent fields being one of those. We want to shift more towards those end user features. We've spent a lot of time on building out the developer journey quite a bit. And if you look at our roadmap, I think it focuses on that. But before we can jump into those, we do need to first make sure that Flow Connect is ready to take on all of our customers. So this quarter, you'll see that we are going to be releasing Portal to Flow Connect, which is great. That's depicted in Q3 as the portal unveiling. And then what will happen from there is that we will look to merge in some of the missing features that we have today, those being machine workflows in Q4. And we'll also do offline applications in Q4. Those will be the two major features that hold a few of our customers from going to Connect. And once we are able to complete those, as soon as we deliver them, we'll be able to take on most of our customers in Flow Connect. From there, we want to go to a global expansion, handle things like translations, multi-deployments, for example, to maybe seamlessly build out and deploy applications into your environments. And then we can take our journey into more user-centric features. I think you talked a little bit today, Johan and Łukasz, about page tree workflows. Those are areas we feel will differentiate us quite a bit in the way that you actually execute applications for users, more mobile native applications. And we call this a new way to flow. And then from there, we can start to tackle even additional features, the telemetry being one of those, marketplace integration. And we do feel like this is why people come to Flow Connect. We want to bring in all the data and be able to analyze that data. So we have some mocks of what this might look like in our future. Andreas showed Hub for the first time. If you haven't heard that term, that is the main admin page that you'll do most of your flow administration from. This is just that. We could build marketplace into the product here in Hub. You'll be able to navigate to it, search through the marketplace, pick out applications, components, or even flow script modules. From there, you might be able to get an overview of what that does, and with one click, be able to deploy that into your organization. But you saw a lot of work done on flow script modules, even components that we've done over the last few quarters. So we don't also believe that that journey just exists inside of the Hub. We think it should also be part of your designer. And when we do build out the web designer, which was shown in our roadmap, we believe that we can integrate these components directly into that studio. You'll be able to drag and drop those components in, play with them, see if they work for you, see if the GS1 barcode app that we built is something that would be helpful or not. And once we're able to quickly build out those applications, we really feel that telemetry is the way to go. That telemetry data is going to be your organizational data presented in easy-to-consume dashboards to start. Maybe that's how many times you've executed individual applications, in which region those applications have been executed. But then you could dive into the data. You might want to see which path is most often taken in the designer. You can see here in this step, from the user step to the script step, 83% of your users are taking an individual path, and therefore maybe your developer should be focused on building out the first swim lane, not the second. But we all think it lands with co-pilots. We do believe that the future is built into something like AI. Instead of you having to navigate through all that data within your organization, why not just have a chat-like experience to talk with your data and understand which step is the step that is most important for your developers to focus on? How often are users sitting on that individual step? And maybe that can lead you to a presentation of metrics, your organization's data at your fingertips. So these are where we want to get to in Connect. It is the future and why we're starting to build out some of these foundational components that you're seeing within our roadmap. And with that said, I think we nailed time. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask. We'll be at the booth over there at the Flow Script or the Flow Expert booth. Thank you.